Hi there, welcome to me, Rodger, Sir Rodger Rose, and welcome to another Kapow Wow reading session. Well, have you noticed? Have you noticed something different? Not the garden, not the location. It's this, yes, and that is called an ascot. And I have to really congratulate and send all my adoring love to my longest serving friend, Annie. She bought this for me. Thank you to Annie, her little Lizzie, and Michael. So thank you for that. This is going to be an amazing day. And not only that, the bonus prize is, watch this. Now, once a week, only once a week you can have one of these. Anything more, health danger, danger to health. And we don't want that. But you can treat yourself once a week. So here we go. I did sneak into a Starbucks, a caramel macchiato. Wow, that answers all your life's problems. Just have that, it will soothe away. Carry on reading though, and then you'll be back to heaven. So what an amazing start to the day. Caramel macchiato ascot. There you go. So let's get on with, now I have a prize today, present. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a motorbike, a basketball maybe. It's from my friend Andrew Seabright. So thank you, Andrew Seabright, for sending and giving me your time and dedication for this. So let's open it. Let's see. Let's see. Oh my golly gosh. Did you hear that? That's a real book, but not just a real book, real thickness. Thick. Look at like a brick. So wow, look at that. Get your beastie eyes on that. That is, yes, Mr. David Walliams, and it's called Bad Dad. Now, not all dads are bad. It's just a story. Okay, so Bad Dad, and what an amazing author this guy is. Very modern, very new, but very masterful, very grand. Okay, so we're going to read this, and we'll see where this book takes us to on this journey. Okay, so let's get reading. So, Bad Dad, David Walliams. Glorious day to read. I put on my sun lotion. Okay, so here we go. So, dads come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. There are fat ones and thin ones, tall ones and short ones. There are young ones and old ones, clever ones and stupid ones. There are silly ones and serious ones, loud ones and quiet ones. Of course, there are good dads and bad dads. Okay, great start. Loving the illustrations there, very Roald Dahl-esque. This story is of a dad and his son. Frank is the son. Dad is the dad. His name is Gilbert. This is Rita, Frank's mum. Auntie Flip is Dad's aunt. She babysits Frank sometimes. Mr. Big is surprisingly small crime boss. Whatever time of day it is, he wears silk pajamas and a dressing gown with velvet slippers monogrammed Mr. B. Mr. Big has two henchmen. Come a bit closer. Come a bit closer. Mr. Big has two henchmen, Fingers and Thumb. Fingers is so called for his long fingers, perfect for picking pockets. Oh my gosh. Thumbs has enormous thumbs that he uses to inflict terrible pain on Mr. Big's enemies. Will and Bear are Thumb's fearsome nephews. Chang is Mr. Big's sinister butler. Reverend Judith is a vicar. Sergeant Scoff is the local policeman. Mr. Swivel is a one-eyed prison guard. Judge Pillar is well known for having a heart of stone. Raj is a newsagent. And there we have the map of the town. There are many places around there. We can see the bank, the library, Rodger's newsagents, pie and mash shop here, Wrongfoot prison, police station, church, Auntie Flip's house is here. We've got the hospital, we've got the park down here. Well, we've got Frank and Gilbert's block of flats here, they live up here. Mr. Big's house, Pilfer House, fields around it. Executioner and Axe pub, football ground, industrial estate here. Okay, the racetrack and the scrapyard. A glorious little town. Glorious. Chapter 1. Chapter 1. Roar went Dad's car as it sped around the dirt track. Frank's father was a banger racer. It was a dangerous sport. Cars would smash into each other, bang, wallop, crunch, and they zoomed round and round. Dad raced an old Mini that he had souped up himself. He had painted a Union Jack on the car and named her Queenie, after a lady he admired, Her Majesty the Queen. The car became famous in racing circles as Dad. Queenie's engine made an unmistakable sound like a lion. Roar! Dad was king of the track. He was the greatest banger racer the town had ever seen. People came from all over the country to watch him race. Nobody won more times than him. Week after week, month after month, year after year, Dad would lift the trophies above his head as the crowd cheered and shouted his name. Gilbert the Great! Gilbert the Great! Gilbert the Great! Gilbert the Great! And they cheer him. Look at that. Life was golden because Dad was local hero. Everyone wanted to know him. Whenever he took his son out for a pie and mash, the owner of the shop would give them double helpings and then wouldn't let them pay a penny. If Frank was walking down the street with his father, people in cars would beep their horns, beep beep, beep beep, and smile and wave. The boy always felt a burst of pride whenever that happened. Frank even got marked up on a test by his maths teacher after the man got a photo taken with his father at parents' evening. No one was a bigger fan of Dad than his own son. The boy worshipped his father. He was a hero to him. Frank longed to be just like his dad one day, a champion race driver. His dream was to one day drive Queenie. As you might expect, father and son looked alike. Both were short and round, with sticky outy ears. The boy looked just like someone had put his dad into a shrinking machine. All of the children at his school, Frank knew he was never going to be the tallest, or the handsomest, or the strongest, or the cleverest, or the funniest. But he had seen the magic and wonder his dad could create with his skill and courage on the racetrack. More than anything, he wanted to taste it. As for Dad, he forbid his son from watching him race. At night, a night would start with 20 cars speeding around the track, and by the end, there would be just one car still standing. Drivers often got badly injured in the pile-ups, and sometimes spectators did too, if the cars crashed into the stands. It's dangerous, mate, said Dad. Gilbert always called his son mate. They were father and son, but best friends too. But Dad, the boy would plead as his father tucked him into bed. No buts, mate. I don't want you to see me get hurt. But you're the best dad. You'll never get hurt. I said no buts. Now come on, be a good boy. Give us a huggle and go to sleep. Dad would always plant a kiss on his son's forehead before he went out to race for the night. As for Frank, he would close his eyes and pretend to be asleep. However, As soon as he heard the door close, he would creep out of bed and crawl down the hallway to the front door so as not to alert his mum. The woman would always shut herself in her bedroom and speak in hushed tones on the telephone whenever her husband was out of the house. Still dressed in his pajamas, the boy would run all the way to the racetrack. Just outside the stadium was a huge tower of rusty old cars that had been smashed up in previous races. Frank would climb to the top of the pile. There he had the best view of the race. The boy would sit cross-legged on the roof of the highest car and watch all the bangers speed by. Every time his father's Mini, Queenie, zoomed past, roaring as she went, the boy would cheer. Go, Dad! Dad had no idea his son was up there. The man barred his son from watching him race because he feared the worst might happen. One night, it did. And that is, wow. Just, I don't want to stop, but I have to. I have a 15-minute limit. But a beautiful book. I will be reading other chapters because that blew my mind. But every book blows my mind. So amazing. We gotta say a thank you, or in French they would say merci beaucoup, to Mr. David Walliams, and thank you Andrew Seabright for buying such a marvellous, immaculate, majestic book. Okay, so like I say, keep reading, read anywhere. Today I'm in a glorious setting, had a great caramel macchiato, got a present from Annie, thank you Annie, and got a sensational book from Mr. Andrew Seabright. So as I always say, keep reading. You decide what you read, you decide who you want to be. So keep on reading and keep on dreaming.